Welcome to the Spanish Football Podcast YouTube channel. I'm Phil Kitromilides, this is Sid Lowe.
Hello.
This is the weekend preview looking ahead to Matchday 4 in LaLiga. It all kicks off on Friday night with Athletic Club visiting the island of Mallorca. Of course, Athletic unbeaten this season, 7 points from a possible 9. They're doing pretty well.
If it's Friday, it must be Athletic as well. Although they have changed one of their Friday games coming up a couple of weeks' time because, who cares? Change it. No one minds. You're right, unbeaten, physically very strong, very intense, very direct. I think Mallorca have had a reasonable start to the season as well, so this is no guaranteed victory at all for Athletic. But they do look good, and you have to take it beyond just this season as well. This goes all the way back to the beginning of the Garitano era. He takes a team that's, I think, second from bottom, gets them to within a crossbar's width of getting into European football at the end of last season. They've beaten Barcelona already this year. They've won the Basque Derby, and everything fits really well with them at the moment. And I think they're going to have a reasonably good season.
Early kickoff on Saturday, 1 p.m. local time. It's the first early kickoff of the season. It's at the Bernabeu. It's Real Madrid against Levante. Levante coming into this game above Real Madrid in the table. We think we're going to see Eden Hazard's debut for Real Madrid.
Yeah, and that's important, isn't it? And I think it's important emotionally as well as footballistically, if that's a real word. Have I just made that up?
No, it's a word.
And particularly with Gareth Bale missing, who of course has provided them with the 2 goals last weekend and got sent off for that double yellow card within the space of a minute. You find it hard to believe, don't you, that Real Madrid wouldn't win this at home, although Levante have had a good record against them the last couple of years.
Just down the road and just after is Leganés against Villarreal at Butarque. Leganés are the only side in the Primera División without a point.
But they deserve to have had points. They were the better side against Osasuna. They caused problems for Atletico Madrid. They went into the lead away at Betis. I think with the 2 that they've got up front, I think they will get this right. But it's concerning, although it's concerning within the context of a team that knows that they were likely to struggle this year, that their objective was going to be survival, and also in the context of a team that knows that if they do win this game, they could well climb as many as 7 or 8 places in the league table.
It's the first home game of the season for Real Sociedad. Their brand new 40,000 capacity stadium Anoeta is finished and ready to host the only side with a 100% record in La Liga, Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, but tell us the stat that really matters, the distance. I think this is the best thing about this game.
So the stand behind the goal at Anoeta, it used to be 32 metres away from the goal. It's now just right behind it as well, so it makes it feel like a proper stadium.
It's a football stadium at last. 4, by the way, a very good football team. I know they weren't good at all in the Basque Derby against Athletic. They were really, I think, overwhelmed by the physicality of Athletic's approach, but they've got a lot of very nice players, and Martin Ødegaard's playing really well. Oyarzabal, we know, is a wonderful footballer. I actually think this season will be quite good for Real Sociedad. That said, Atletico, as you pointed out, has had the perfect start.
The big game of the weekend is at the Camp Nou. It's Barcelona against Valencia. A Barcelona side who we think are once again going to be without Lionel Messi.
Yeah, and we don't even know for sure if Luis Suarez will make it back, so we may well see that forward line of Carlos Perez, Ansu and Griezmann. I suppose even if Suarez does make it, there's a chance that he doesn't start, that he comes on in the second half. The fact that it's at home obviously always makes you feel like Barcelona have a stronger chance than away from home, because they have not started the season well. They've trailed in all 3 games so far this season, and I don't think this is going to be easy.
The early kickoff on Sunday, the first midday kickoff of the season, it's Eibar against Espanyol. 2 sides that are really struggling. Espanyol, the only team in the division without a goal. Eibar have also got 1 point. Espanyol have got 1 point as well. So an early 6-pointer.
Yeah. I mean, in so much as you can ever say that as early as this, you're right. But I think with Eibar, at least, that one of the differences is that they have a very, very clear identity, a very clear sense of what it is they're trying to do. And while it hasn't worked, and they haven't actually played particularly well so far this season, I think they had half an hour maybe against Mallorca on the opening weekend, I think they will get things right.
Alavés against Sevilla. You're heading to Mendizorroza to see 2 unbeaten sides go head to head.
Yeah, and 2 sides that are really pleased with the way that things have gone. I think with Sevilla, of course, you expect good results, and everybody's aware that this is very early. There's been elements of what they've done that haven't entirely convinced. I think with Alavés, it's almost the opposite, that perhaps this is slightly better than anticipated.
Okay, straight after that, it's Celta against Granada. Granada, who of course had a fantastic away win just before the international break at Espanyol. We also were expecting to see Rafinha make his debut for Celta, but he's injured, so that's not going to happen.
That was where the obvious place to start with this is the inevitable happens, sadly. And Rafinha, you look at him, and all right, it's true that he's not the most immensely talented footballer of all time, but he moves well, he understands the positioning on the pitch really well, he always contributes when he plays, and it's just such a pity. It's not a serious injury, but it's such a pity to see him pick up another injury at a time when Celta are trying to build this kind of team with a Vigo identity, and the early signs are that it might work and might work really quite well.
Osasuna are still unbeaten on their return to the Primera División. They travel to Valladolid. Yep, not much to say on that one. Okay.
That's terribly unfair.
Okay, we'll see how it goes. Last week we said Espanyol against Getafe. We had nothing. Espanyol against Granada, rather. We had nothing to say about that, and it ended up 3-0 to Granada.
Yeah,
there we go.
That was good. So
don't listen to us.
We don't know what we're talking about.
Final game is Betis against Getafe. Betis getting their first win of the season just before the international break, and they needed to as well against another side from the south of Madrid in Leganés. This time it's Getafe visiting.
Yeah, theoretically very different styles. Obviously, the confrontation between managers won't be as strong without Setien there, because of course Setien and Bordas really disliked each other based on kind of an ideology of football, if you like. I think this Betis side with Fekir, I think with Borja Iglesias, who hit the post last week, Fekir scored again. He's looking really good. I think there's a certain degree of excitement about Betis, although the start of the season until the third game hasn't been as strong as they would hope. The other thing about Betis, of course, is they live in a permanent state of kind of agitation and excitement and or pressure, and you have to learn to live with that.
Yeah, of course, Getafe finished fifth last season, just 2 points from a possible 9 as well in the opening 3 games. Okay, that's Matchday 4. That's the weekend preview here on the Spanish Football Podcast YouTube channel. The podcast is out every Monday, wherever you get your podcasts, Acast, Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, wherever, and also loads of extra content available for you at patreon.com/TSFP.